let's move on, and we have to maybe pour one out. This is a sad episode. As
it's not for me.
Okay, well,
a guy that I like to watch, and a guy who I thought was
talk about because we have spent so much time over the past 3 years. 2 years that he's been here.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
So I thought it was 3 years. Chris McCain is gone.
Yes.
Traded away to the Saints. There we go. For a conditional
seventh round pick.
Your thoughts on saying goodbye to Chris McCain?
I am happy for the player because as I said last week in the show, I felt like Chris McCain wasn't anybody's guy. They didn't find him. They didn't unearth him. The talent is undeniable. You cannot watch practice and see Chris McCain be as disruptive as he is against third teamers, against second teamers. It don't matter. You can put him against first teamers. Still disruptive. Watch the game that he played, the one game that he really played, which was the preseason opener against the Giants. Watch him be disruptive there. And then still justify why he doesn't play with this organization. But you know what? The Dolphins signed Andre Branch. They signed Mario Williams. They signed Jason Jones. And all of those players have to play and have to be safe over Chris McCain. How many pass rushers are you going to keep? 4 at the max. Maybe 5. Maybe Terrence Fede makes the team. But Chris McCain is not that great of a special teams player, so it made it a very difficult spot for them to be in. But here's the thing that I've always had an issue with. There's certain things that are hard to find. Pass rushers in the NFL, very hard to find. Look at where you were last year with 31 sacks, and you still didn't play Chris McCain.
Right.
But I'm glad to see him get to an organization now who they've invested a 7th-round draft pick in him. So he is clearly now somebody's player. He's going to get those opportunities to make the mistakes that Chris McCain might make and still survive. Chris McCain had no margin. The leash was very tight on him. And the minute that he barked too loud, they put him right back in the doghouse.
Yeah. He's a guy who spoke his mind too, and was a guy who went through a lot and had used everything that he had kind of gone through in college to motivate him to become better and fight better. And you're right, I think he deserves this opportunity.
Part of the problem he didn't play was on Chris McCain.
Oh, yeah, and I'm not saying it's... Yeah,
and I think he will acknowledge and admit
sure.
Chris McCain's a dog, and he bites people sometimes. And he doesn't do everything that he's supposed to do. But I'm sorry. I've seen enough dogs who can not be contained, but get put on the field, and they thrive, and coaches find a way to make them work. My concern is you won't have a good pass rush this season. A lot of these old defensive ends will wear down, and then let's just say Chris McCain thrives in a bad Saints defense, because it is bad, and it's going to be bad. Let's say Chris McCain gets 6 sacks this season. What are you going to say? Is it worth that 7th-round draft pick?
Oh, yeah.
It's worth the 7th-round draft pick?
To have 6 sacks?
No. I'm saying if Chris McCain thrives.
You would have rather kept him for the 7th-round draft pick.
I'm glad to see him go because I think he deserved an opportunity, and I think he deserved to be somebody's guy. But you're going to miss that talent because I certainly miss watching him on the practice field.
All right. So preseason game number 4 is coming up against the Titans. What are some of the issues that you might have so far in analyzing this roster? What's remaining?
To me, I don't think a starting tailback has raised his hand. Jay Ajayi, we've seen nothing from during the preseason, whether it be opportunity. I've really seen very little during practice. Now, in defense of Jay Ajayi, they have not really worked on the running game that much. Now, Adam Gase has said they're using the preseason exhibition game to work on the running game. 92 carries, 3.3 yards per attempt. Now a lot of times they're leading at the end of games and they're trying to run the ball just to get rid of kill the clock. But the running game isn't where it needs to be. And I would like to see Arian Foster. I doubt he's going to play in the 4th preseason game. No, he's 30 years old. Like why would he play? But I would like to see Jay Ajayi get that work. He needs that work. Now Kenyon Drake, young guy who's coming back from a hamstring injury, I'd like to see what he can do. I'm curious. Now, flipping that to the other issues, the cornerback spot. Xavier Howard is finally cleared to practice after sitting out most of training camp with a knee scope. I've watched him do full practices this past week. He's already inserted into the starting lineup, leapfrogging over Tony Lippett, and kid looks good. For me to say that he looks good, That should put it in perspective, because how often have I come here outside of Chris McCain and told you that a guy looks good? He's got physicality, he's got instincts, he's got ball skills, he's got an awareness, he's got size to him.
Thank goodness.
Yes, I have nicknamed him the Savior. Not because he will be the Savior, but because the Dolphins are basically basking and hoping, oh my God, please save our jobs. Because you can't purge the secondary that you just did, fire every cornerback in your unit, trade away every cornerback. Because they traded away or released their top 4 cornerbacks last year.
Wow. Start
all over. And then have the unit be bad?
Bring in only 1 veteran.
Oh, my God. What were you thinking?
Well, we've been talking long. Let's get to some of our Twitter questions here, because we haven't really taken anything from you viewers. Let's go to Joe. What do you see with Gase practices that are better than previous coaches?
Better than previous coaches. I don't think they have the physicality of Tony Sparano. I think Tony Sparano had some competitive one-on-one periods, and they were real competitive. I'm not seeing that, but I do see an offense that's tailor-made for this quarterback, and round of applause, because I've been crying out for the last 4 years, move the quarterback, move the pocket, play action, get him on the move. And it looks like Adam Gase is finally utilizing that. I like, and I've watched Adam Gase call plays in practice, and I like that there's a rhythm and there's a flow to it. You won't see it in the preseason, but I think you'll see it in the regular season gets here. I like that he forces Ryan Tannehill to be more aggressive. If the pass is spotted to go to the end zone and a corner route, and you need to put it in this exact spot, that's the throw I want to see you throw, not check it down. And woo! It's been a relief to watch the practice the last 2 weeks when they've been installing in plays, as opposed to just letting Ryan do what he does and execute the offense, installing in specific plays to achieve specific things, because it's looked a lot different than what we've seen most of training camp.
Was that first half against the Falcons a milquetoast? Because we saw it was basically 5 yards per attempt, really, or is that?
No, that's your offense. That's your offense with select shots.
Okay.
That is the offense. Judge Ryan Tannehill on his ability to convert third downs and score touchdowns in the red zone. That's where and perform when you're trailing in the fourth quarter, perform. Judge him as I've always consistently said, judge the quarterback on third downs, red zone, and fourth quarter performances. Those are the 3 areas Ryan Tannehill sucks at.
I was going to say, those seem to be the 3 specific areas that he's not good at.
I mean, that's when a quarterback wins games. Right. And that's why Dolphins don't win games, because he sucks at them.
Right.
The whole offense, not fair to him, because there are a lot of pressures on third downs. The run game doesn't put you in good down and distance situations. Judge the offense, wink, wink, on those categories.
All right, let's move on with a couple more Twitter questions that we have. Let's take it from Chris. What makes you sure Xavier Howard has the cornerback number 2 spot on lock? This will be his first preseason game that he's played, and you think that what he's shown in practice last week is enough?
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah, right.
Have you seen Tony Lippett?
I have seen Tony Lippett play.
Okay. Conversation over.
Right,
listen. Bobby McCain, I think, is probably the 3rd best cornerback. I think right now he's behind Michael Thomas as the nickel guy. Michael Thomas will probably begin the season as the starting nickel. But Tony Lippett is probably your 4th cornerback. And if you put him up into the starting spot, there's going to be a bullseye on his chest. I don't think you're ready for that. He's ready for that.
No, Doug Baldwin's going to run circles around him on week 1. Okay, Tori asked, do you see the Dolphins bringing in a linebacker or a tight end via sign trade before the season starts?
Only in my prayers.
Yeah, right.
No, I think, let me put this out there. I think that Jordan Cameron had a very good week of practice this week. Made some ridiculous catches. I don't know if you were out there for Sunday's practice, where Ryan Tannehill hit him in the seam for a 30-yard pass, and then the very next play, Ryan Tannehill throws to some wide receiver, gets a PI to put him at the 1-yard line, and then he bullets a pass into Jordan Cameron that he catches over Walt Aikens in the very back of the end zone. The whole team gathers and celebrates for Jordan Cameron because, thank you, you can catch the ball. I think Jordan Cameron's issues are more mental than they are. I think his chemistry issues with Ryan Tannehill can be solved with play calling by Adam Gase. And hopefully, Adam Gase can work these miracles that everybody thinks of these cans and parts the sea and makes a tight end resurrect and helps Jordan Cameron become the player that he has the potential to be. There's talent there.
For sure. I mean,
how you get it out.
Cleveland.
Yes. There's talent there. I don't think Jordan Cameron is as committed as he should be to maximizing his career. When you give me $7 million like he got last year, hey, when they shook him down for a pay cut, but I don't think he's being the pro that he needs to be in order to have success this season. And hopefully Adam Gase can light a fire under him like maybe he lit a fire under Devontae.
All right, these are wishes and hopes, but do you think they will sign a tight end or a linebacker?
I think they will claim a tight end or a linebacker. Okay. There's no way that you, as a Dolphins organization, you can go into this season, look at your tight end unit, look at your linebacker unit, look at the 16 games that you've got ahead of you and think that you're going to survive. None.
They should have thought of that 3 months ago.
Well, you drafted Thomas Duarte, and he was nothing. Instead of drafting Scooby Wright, you selected Brandon Doughty, and he probably, I don't even know if I'm putting him on my practice squad. I think Zach Dysert is a little bit better of a player, a little bit ready. Here's a question. A lot of Dolphin fans are like, oh, look at Dallas' situation. Look at Minnesota's situation. Let's trade Matt Moore for a 7th-round draft pick and then have Brandon Doughty as your quarterback. And I'm looking at him like, are you serious? Like, you will never win another game this season, and you have to have a quarterback that gives your team a chance. Matt Moore has to be on this team because Matt Moore can produce an 8-8 season if he's a starting quarterback for the Dolphins. Brandon Doughty cannot. Zach Dysert, maybe he could get you to 4 wins. And you have to have a quarterback on the roster to give your team a chance so that they're going into each week preparing, thinking, we got a shot.